Hey everyone, it's Pete DeYoung with Remax Professionals here. As you can see, I don't have Katelyn with me today, which is kind of too bad. But the reality is, she got some bad news about her puppy last night or this morning, so she's taken some time off. She's not doing really well, so hopefully things work out well with Bruno. And but either way, that Kate would be back soon. In the meantime, here's what's going on with the market. And again, as usual, we're going to be comparing September of this year versus September of last year. So just to be clear. And the prices that we're going to talk about are not average prices, but benchmark prices, which is a little bit better to look at because when you see average prices climbing by 2 or 3%, it's only because we're selling more of the lower price stuff and less of the higher price stuff. But if you look at a benchmark price, then you can sort of say, well, it looks like my house in my market is probably going to go up about, closer to that amount. So, but we'll go through that a little bit more detail. Overall, what's happening in the last little while has changed a little bit because I know, for the last 6 or 8 months or 10 months, whatever, we've been saying same story as last year. Inventory is down, sales are up. But in September, things did take a little bit of a twist, and that is that inventory came up from last year. So right now, our inventory is at 3,370 homes, which is still really, really low. But new listings were up 21% from last year. So that's been an interesting change. Now, part of that is because inventory was so darn low last year that, starting at a really low base, it's not hard to get an increase on it. But new listings were at 3,100 new listings in September. Sales were at 24. So sales were up 30%. Listings were up just over 20%, which means that total inventory, by the way, is still down 24% or nearly 25% from last year. So inventory is new listings are up over last year. Total inventory is still down 24%. So as long as we're with a shortage of inventory that we've been experiencing, you can expect that prices are going to remain stable or continue to climb. And that's just merely a result of, we're just not building enough homes for the amount of people that we're bringing in as usual. So months of supply actually came down. Months of supply now is at 1.4. So just less than a month and a half supply of homes on the market, which again, I mean, that's tiny. And in some markets, especially the market, sort of below the $600,000 level, it's even lower than that. There's virtually nothing. A house goes up and it's gone. So that months of supply is down 41.5% from last year. So what has this done to pricing? Well, total benchmark pricing is up about 9%. We're now looking at $570,000. In terms of detached homes, they're up over 11%. And again, this is benchmark prices, not average. So the average, or typically a home in your neighborhood would be up sort of over 10% from last year, which is not bad. I mean, that's a 50, 60, $70,000 return if that's what, if you're in the 5, 6, $700,000 price range. Semi-detached homes are up about the same, just over 10%. Townhouses, it's crazy. They're up almost 20% from last year. But I remember last year when I was doing these market reports and talking about how badly they were doing. And just like, man, I think if you're looking for an investment right now, nobody wants these townhouses, which means as an investor, that's a good time to buy a townhouse. When the market yings yen. So anyway, so they're up over 17% from last year, which is pretty darn good. And apartments, again, they're up 15%. So apartments had a long ways to go as well, especially after the damage that COVID did to the downtown core in conjunction with the drop in price and the drop of values in the prices of oil and gas and that whole market. So the two of them conspired against downtown condos and really beat it up. Condos outside of the downtown didn't fare as badly. So anyways, so they're up about 15% from last year. In terms of the areas of the city that are outperforming the other ones, it's the east side, Forest Lawn, Dover, all those areas that are outperforming everybody still. They're up about 20% from last year. And this goes back to what I was saying is when you see an average price go up a smaller amount than the benchmark prices, because if these areas that have prices where people can still afford to live, prices that are $400,000 or $500,000 for a detached home, they're up 20% from last year. The Northeast, which would include sort of everything north of kind of like Memorial or whatever, they're up 16% from last year. Other areas are all usually up around 10%, and then the downtown is up about 5%. So there's still room for some real growth downtown. I've been saying it for a year. I'll continue to say it until it's not true anymore. But I still think if you're looking for an investment property, the downtown, as with most downtowns across North America, by the way, they were all kind of gutted by COVID and people starting to work from home and that kind of stuff. But people are beginning to see that that doesn't really work. That you're better off being surrounded by a team, and holding each other accountable and being able to talk about ideas and bang stuff around with other people. So people are returning to the office to a large degree, and I think that's going to affect the downtown core as well. So that's what happened in September of 2023. If you have any questions about what happened in your immediate market, or if you're thinking of selling your place, give me a shout or give Kate a shout, and I'd love to talk to you about it. We do things differently. I like to think that we do things better, and we're constantly trying to improve even how we do things. And as a result, I think we're getting close to like 84 or 85 5-star Google reviews in a row. And I take that as a massive compliment. My wife would tell you, if you know her, that I get a bigger thrill out of those Google reviews than I do out of a commission check half the time. So I just love them. Anyway, so by the way, that means if you're a client of mine and you haven't done a Google review, please do. I mean, people do read them. We are in what's called a review economy. So people look at reviews before choosing a real estate agent or a hairdresser or a lawyer. So if you don't mind, leave me a review. If it's a crappy review, give me a shout first. I'd like to learn how I can do things better. But by all means, leave an honest review is great. Thanks again so much. You can reach me anytime at the website that'll appear here or here or here or here. It's www.petedejong.ca. And you can always find me on Facebook and stuff like that too. And otherwise, yeah, call me or text me anytime on my cell at 403-818-7310. That number will probably appear here or here or here or here too. So anyways, thinking of Kate today, and hope she's doing okay, and hope to see her back next time. In the meantime, over and out. Thanks.